Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to this YouTube channel. If you're coming across this YouTube channel for the first time, welcome, and please subscribe, share, like, set the notification bell, and also please, before you leave a comment in the comment section, because I would really like to get your views on these matters that we are discussing here. Now, today we're going to talk about two issues. We're going to talk about a Pabi Moloi issue and our very own Somizi issue. Now, with these two cases, what is similar about them is that people are separating or either divorcing. And I think many of you may have seen the story of Pabi Moloi, where they are separated with their husband, and now the husband claims half of her assets and a spousal maintenance on top of that, whereas in Somizi as well, we have a case of divorce pending that is on the way as well, that will be appearing in court very, very soon. And as well, in the same breath, they will be either have to share, whereas I think Somizi will be contesting the sharing part into his estate. Now, I want us to learn from these two cases. Let us start with Pabi Moloi's case. Number one, with Pabi Moloi, who is a radio presenter, a very renowned radio presenter. She was lobolat according to the hubby's version of events, that they did lobola each other in, or let me not say each other. He claimed that he paid 25,000 lobola to Pabi's family in 2016. He also claims that they got married, and I think they have a child as well. Fine. Now, maybe the child part I'm not so sure of, but I suspect it is their child, because I do know that Pabi has a child. Now, here's a thing. Now, he wants two things from Pabi. He wants a equal division of the joint estate. What is equal division of the joint estate? Equal division of the joint estate means he wants exactly half of everything that they own together as a couple, because he feels entitled, because he feels they were married in community of property. Is that so? Let's check. We'll hear everything, the details in court. But what we know so far is that in 2016, he took out lobola, 25,000 rands. And after that, what also happened is that Pabi herself did post something on her Instagram account to say to indicate that she was married, along the lines of everybody got married, including me. And she put in their picture and said for a lifetime or something like that, for a lifetime or for forever. Okay, fine. We all think when we get into marriages that it is forever. Nobody gets in there thinking like this will last 5 years, 10 years, and then we are out of here. No. We are all thinking when we're getting into marriage that it will last forever. So we don't blame her for that. Now, unfortunately, this part puts her in a compromising position, because now that very statement on its own, it was admission of being married. Now that a husband can use in court as evidence, since she now wants to deny that marriage altogether. She says she was never married, she has always been single, she is single. According to her, now that she's no longer in love, she feels like she's single. But according to the South African law, if someone lobola you, I'll check something the evidence. If the marriage, we've got two kinds of marriage in our country. We've got customary marriage, we also have civil marriage. Customary marriage, it's where we just do our things traditionally, where we take out lobola, then we celebrate definitely, and we get into that partnership. So remember what happens on lobola day. Definitely on the lobola day, there is money that is taken out, and most of the time we are celebrating. There's no such a thing as I take out lobola and then I get out. So I'll show you evidence that it says customary marriage is when two parties are getting into an agreement of marriage. They must both be overeating, and the lobola must be paid and celebrated, and then the partnership is, they are getting into the partnership. So according to that description, they may have been married, because if you can look at the picture that goes around, which was posted by Pabi a while ago, when everything was still well, when she thought she was marrying this guy forever. They were even wearing both traditional clothes, indicating that there was some sort of a celebration, traditional celebration that was going on that day. So that is befitting according to the law that we have. But we should also consider that these cases, when they go to court, it depends on the legal eagle that you have in court. And most of the time, people who've got money are the ones that get their way in court, because they can afford to do everything they can, to twist everything that they can, because the more effort the lawyer is gonna put, the more money you pay. So if you're not in that position, you may lose the case, even if it was within your rights to win that case. But we'll see. So it will remain one of the case of interest in the country. And remember, our courts, each case that is won, it becomes a reference for other cases that will come after. So we'll see. We stand to see what will be decided in that case of Pabi and Juan, her husband. So we are waiting to see how things will turn out, in whose favor will the court decide whether he gets half the estate and the 8,500 spousal maintenance. Don't forget that. He wants to maintain the standard of living that Pabi afforded him while they were still married. So this is one of the lucky guys in the country that can afford spousal maintenance, since we do know that these days it is possible that a man can depend on a woman financially, and if in a relationship you have evidence that you were the dependent of that person in the relationship, and that person had to even if you had your own income, but this person constantly gave you money, and you provide evidence that they were earning far more, and they were the provider in the marriage, you can claim spousal maintenance even if you are working. Yes, even if you're working. So yeah, we stand to see Pabi's case is one of the interesting cases. And then we come to Somizi and Mohale Mhlongo Mutaung. This is one other case that is going to be very interesting, because if you can remember, last year early, Mohale Mutaung, there was a tape that was leaked in which he was talking to one of the producers of Living the Life with Somizi, and unfortunately that guy was recording him unbeknownst to Mohale, and then he made sure that it's leaked to the public. Now in the clip we could hear Mohale telling this producer about the abuse that he endured under Somizi's I don't know whether should I call it Somizi's marriage or so, but it was their marriage. And that marriage too, it was just a customary marriage, because that one was celebrated in front of all of us. I mean, guys, we watched that show. We watched those 4 episodes of, was it 3 or 4 episodes of Somizi's marriage. The preparation of the traditional wedding, and also the preparation of the white wedding. We were there, even if we were not physically there, but we were there as a country, watching on our screens how they got married. So that one was a marriage without even, I think it was even officiated by some minister. So that one, they can't even say. The difference is that they did not go to register their marriages at the Home Affairs. Now, at Home Affairs, you have an option of registering your customary marriage as customary marriage at Home Affairs, or you can register it as civil. But if you don't go and register, and there was lobola, there was celebration, there was what, that one becomes marriage, a customary marriage, and it becomes automatic. It becomes automatic community of property. Yes, it becomes automatic in community of property kind of a marriage. Now, with that in mind, remember, if you are to avoid being in community of property with someone, you need to get into what we call anti-nuptial agreement. Anti-nuptial agreement, which is also called the ANC, anti-nuptial agreement. So with the anti-nuptial contract or anti-nuptial agreement, which is also called the prenup, there are 2 kinds. There is one with accrual and there is one with no accrual. So you can choose that, okay, and the antenuptials must be done before the day of the wedding. Before the day of the wedding, the antenuptial contract must have been signed and delivered to the deeds office. So if you need the antenuptial, you first have to go to the lawyer. the lawyer will go there, they'll give you options and give you detailed explanation of the contracts, the accruals and the no accruals, and you will have to state the things that you have, the things that you don't have. Now, how helpful is the ANC or the anti-nuptial contract? It is very, very important because it has got different benefits. One of the benefits is that since we are living in bad days, if you have signed anti-nuptial and you are in a marriage contract, you are married, you can, maybe one of you go and take a loan. If you take a loan, if it ever happens that you are unable to pay that loan and the other one maybe does not have anything to do with that loan, so the two of you cannot sync for that one loan. So there will never be a time where sheriff of the court can just pitch and take all of your things. So sheriff of the court will have to first establish whose things are these, whose things are those, and if they have to take something, they'll have to take something only from the person that took a loan from. But without the antinuptial or the prenup, if you are married and then one of you go and open up a debt, whether the other one knows or they don't know, and then if they ever fail to pay it, you are both in trouble. If the other one is blacklisted, you are automatically blacklisted as a union. The two of you are blacklisted. So everything that happens on the right happens on the left. It's like a mathematical equation. Everything that happens this side happens this side. So without the prenup or the antinuptial contract, you are, and then you are opting to get into a relationship in community of property, or you are married customarily together, just know that you're gonna be affected by everything that happens to another partner in that marriage. So it's not only for the sake of divorce or death that you can sign the prenup. You can sign the prenup even for bad times, when one of you may be struggling or both of you may be struggling and maybe failing to pay one's debt because maybe it's too expensive for the two of you. So it is very, very important and vital to learn from these cases. Case ya Pabi, case ya Somizi, we have to look closely to and follow them thoroughly, because really these days it's not wise just to marry someone without making them sign a prenup, particularly if you're already entering into that partnership with your big assets. So I must say, as much as we all made stupid mistakes, because we're sitting here because of the past mistakes that we did in our marriages, Somizi is one of the people that we can count on as a person that was not so wise when it came to his love for Mohale. Mohale is not a bad person. I don't believe he is. And Somizi is not an angel. I do believe that he did abuse Mohale, as he said. But for now, to not want to share things with Mohale. And remember this thing, guys. Somizi was the oldest one. I mean, Somizi Kitakaka, we are 49. The two of us are 49 right now. Somizi is 49. He decided to go for a child that is in his 20s. It's not a problem, because at least that is illegal. That is legal in our country. It's fine. But to force a relationship with a child, like, it's not wrong legally, but I think morally, and I don't know, like I don't have a relevant word that I want to use. I have it in my head in Sesotho, but I don't have it in English. It was not wise for him to force the love with this child. He initiated this relationship. He was like, you could see, even if you were watching Living the Life with Somizi, you could tell that Mohale was not happy in that relationship. You could tell that Mohale was bored in that relationship. He was always on his phone, and I think we were screaming, and we almost many people were warning Somizi about this Mohale, that this guy does not look like he's into you the way you are into him. But because all of us, when we are in love, we get very foolish. So yeah, Somizi had that foolish moment there, but he shouldn't feel bad about it. We all have been there. We've been fools for love at some point. But my point is, he stood a bigger chance of losing marrying Mohale. He was the one that was older. He was the one that had big assets. Did he think those assets would make Mohale stay in the relationship? If he thought so, he thought wrong, because love cannot be bought with anything. And now came a time where Mohale could not pretend anymore, maybe, or where Mohale could not bear the abuse as he claimed from from Somizi. Remember that already, if you are not into that person, and the minute they start showing signs that you don't like, it's easier to leave. Because I really believe that Mohale was not into Somizi the way Somizi was into Mohale. So for Somizi, it looked from the get-go, it looked like he was the one begging for love. He was the one that was going extra mile, and he was doing it with love. We understand, but he failed to see that he's not, what he's putting in was not reciprocated. And he also forgot that he had huge assets, and he entered into a partnership that was gonna force him to share those assets with Mohale. It was his choice. Actually, Mohale is right to demand half of the things that Somizi has, because the marriage contract allows them to, because they got into customary marriage. Customary marriage is automatically in community of property. I would like to see Somizi arguing that in court. I so want to see how they are gonna argue Mohale's case in there. I so want to see, but I don't know where did I hear that if the marriage did not last a year, that can benefit. I think I heard something like that somewhere. So let's hope that is true. If that is true, we'll see with Somizi's case that if a marriage did not last a year, like some of the things can be like taken out of context, and not follow proper procedures as like a marriage that lasted for a long time. I'm not saying this is true, like I'm saying I don't even remember where I heard that. I just hope for Somizi's sake that it is true, because if not, you'll have to share those millions, those assets, cars and houses with Mohale. It was his choice. He was the oldest one, number one. Number two, he was the one loaded, and then he chose not to secure his assets. He did not secure them. He trusted too much. And whether like love is foolish, it's okay. unfortunately he made that mistake, and that mistake is legally bound by the law. So we'll see. Maybe in his case as well, the one with a bigger pocket or a deeper pocket will be the one that wins in court. We'll see. But the court does know that whatever they decide with Somizi's case can be a reference to other cases that will come after. So what are we learning from these cases? That it is wise to get into a contract before you get married to a person. Actually, these days, I am advising everyone that's contemplating to get into marriage to marry out of community of property and still sign their accrual, or with no accrual, prenup with no accrual, or antenuptial contract with no accrual. Those things do help a lot. They do help. Those contracts are there for a reason, and let us not be manipulated into thinking that we don't love people when we suggest these. You know, people are like, oh, you think that then you don't love me. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated into signing in community of property, because if a person can manipulate you like that, already that's an indication of more trouble coming. So love is love, contracts are contracts. Let us not confuse the two. Let us not feel like, hey, let's do things right. Let us go to lawyers before we get married, and let's get legal advices before we get married, so that we do know what we are getting ourselves into. I think Somizi would have done himself a great work by doing that, and Pabi as well could have done herself a big favor, a huge favor, by going to the attorney before she got married to Juan. Is it Juan or Juan? But I think it's Juan. Such names I've had them called Juan. So I hope, I really do wish that they reach solutions amicably in court and carry on after, because the legal battles turn even the bad relationships into worst relationships. Believe me, if you're gonna fight hard in court, it's so gonna be difficult to ever build those bridges ever again, because now when you get into the court, you must take out the gloves and fight. So after that fight, the fight becomes so bad, and remember, the attorneys don't care. They want to use anything that they can. And sometimes when it's not like you hate this person, because you once lived with that person and a certain percentage of you was invested or is still invested in that person, even though things or conditions did not allow you to carry on. But it does not mean like the feelings that you had with this person were just switched off like that. Divorce does not switch off any emotions. And the court, whether the paper, the divorce papers, the whatever, actually, instead of switching off the love, it's just creating other avenues of pain. It opens other avenues of pain, because sometimes when people get into court, they come up with lies that you never thought you'll ever hear in your life. You, for the first time, you get lies and lies told about you by the person that you love so much, because by the time you divorce a person, you still love them. So hearing them bringing up lies of things that never happened, it's so painful. And hearing the person or looking at the person behaving in a way that you never thought they would, it leaves you broken a lot. So that is it. So I just hope Somizi and Pabi will I just hope Juan and Mohale well after this. I do know that Mohale at first he said he wanted only his car and his clothes and whatever. He doesn't want anything of Somizi. But the way he was dragged and trashed on Twitter, I think really he does qualify for Somizi. Anyway, Somizi, you wanted to give it to him because you, my brother, you should have gone to the lawyer, to attorney. You have done so many contracts with different companies, different whatever, different partnerships in your life. What made you think that this partnership did not need a lawyer? So you were giving him your wealth on a plate, Baba. You, unfortunately, it's a mistake that we all did, but you also made that mistake. Even you, Pabi, you did give one things on a platter, on a silver platter. So if it's time to share with him, fight, my sister, but be prepared to give him whatever he deserves to get, because by not going to the attorney and signing the contract and securing your assets before you marry him, you were like saying, baby, what's mine is yours. So it's time to pay for that. And sorry for the pain that you're going through, guys, but in Sesotho we say sijamon nasemqedi. So whatever you're gonna lose, if you're gonna lose, you're still gonna get more of that. Sometimes that paves the way for bigger and better things. And with that, I just want to say bye. Thank you for